Hey there, welcome to our channel. My name is Juan, it's great having you, and today we're going to be painting to the 1996 blockbuster, Twister. Here at Ethereal Arts Studio, I'm an artist, you're an artist, we are all artists. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also hit the notification button so you'll stay up to date with all of our tutorials and time lapses. So let's start with the colors that I'll be using: black, white, yellow, red, and dark brown. The canvas I have here is 11 by 14 inches, and here are the brushes that I'll be using. So I'm going to start off with some yellow. Most of the background is yellow mixed with white to make a pale yellow. And I'll use this to fill up the whole background. So let's talk about the film for a second. A huge film, a huge hit in 1996 by Jan de Bont, and starring some great actors such as the late Bill Paxton, Jamie Gertz, Helen Hunt, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Carrie Elways. So now in this spot right here, I'm going to add some sunlight that is emanating from the sky. So I'm going to use some white. I wash the brush and dry it really well. So I'm going to take some white by itself and just add it. And I'm going to start spreading that towards all directions. And while I do that, I want to just remind you to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so you'll stay up to date and receive notifications when we post our newest tutorials. We have so many tutorials. Here's a couple, just to name a few, but we have so many more coming, and we take suggestions, any idea that you might have. So here I have some of that dark brown. It's actually umber. I'm gonna start just dabbing that across the sky. So this is very just uneven. I do very Bob Ross like, just X's if you will, just all sorts of dabs, applying that paint all throughout that top of the sky. And here all I did was just add some black paint to make the bottom, to make the ground. It doesn't have to be a straight line, it could be a little bit uneven. So I'll take that same brush with some of that black paint and just, without even washing it, just add it over here to the mixture that's in the sky. It's better if it mixes somewhat, so you just dab it, press hard, so that those colors kind of mix. What we're adding is pretty much the darkness up there, the heaviness in those clouds, and shadows as well. But we're gonna mix it right up. So here, take the brush without even washing it or anything. Once again, just start a new mixture. So the brush has a lot of paint, so I add some yellow and white to mix it, so I can make a lighter, kind of greenish color. And I add that just kind of like I added the black paints, but only to this bottom part of this upper cloud, just this bottom part. And as you can see, it's very different. So to soften that, I take a dry brush and just softly blur that into the cloud. So with this small brush and some black paint, I'm gonna start adding some structures to the ground. So I'm gonna start off with a couple of small, short buildings or houses. After that, I'm gonna add an antenna, what looks like some kind of electrical tower. And then after that, I'm gonna add some trees and some leaves that are just moving in the wind. Now, the main event, the tornado itself. I take some of that dark brown. If you want to make it darker, you could add a little bit of black to it. So after all those details, all those shadows up in the clouds, making it much darker, I'm going to use the same brush, just wiping off all that paint. Here, I'm going to even dump it in the water for a second and take it out and dry it so that there's a tiny bit of residue left. With that transparent remainder of paint that is on the brush, I add all this dust, all this debris, this dust that is all over here, all around the bottom of the tornado, the base, all here in the lifted in the air, all this dust. It even goes all the way up to the clouds. You do that, you even borrow some of the paint from the tornado itself. It'll come off if you rub it like this. Some of it will come off. So what I want to do now is add some debris to the base of the tornado right here. So I'm going to use some of that dark brown, and then I'm just going to wipe it off. Wipe almost all of it off. And then I'm going to dab on some debris right here. It's much darker, so it's closer to the tornado. So now I'm going to add some even darker debris right next to the base of the tornado. I used a small brush this time and some black paint, and I just wipe it off the same way and dab it on. So now I'm going to move down to a small brush, a tiny brush I mean, a detail brush, and I'm going to paint the tornado chasers, the Extreme, Joe and company. Although none of them will actually be visible, it will just be the truck and Dorothy. So I'm going to start off with a very dark gray. It will still be visible on the black ground, so it's dark but it's still visible as you see, and I'm going to make a small rectangle. So to this rectangle, I'm going to add sort of like a dome. What we're painting is a truck. So this is the top part. What you're going to see me do now is basically go back and forth between different shades of gray to add details to this car, to this truck. So if you're painting with me, just make every mark that I make. After which I'm going to use a little bit of red and white for the backlights of the car. Now this is actually Dorothy that I'm painting here, the cylinder shape. So now I'm going to go even lighter than that. I'm going to add a little bit of white paint to make it even lighter. I'm going to add just a hint of paint right here for the tire. And I'm going to add the mirrors, which are tiny little ovals. I'm going to go lighter once again, just to add a little bit of this apparatus on the Dorothy machine. So now I'm going darker. I'm going to add black to paint some shadows here. Now back to very, very light to add the license plate. So now I'm going to mix red and a little bit of white to make almost like a pink. This is going to be the glare of the lights. And then I'm going to add 2 white dots for the actual lights themselves. So finally, just a little bit of light hitting the ground here, and then our heroes can chase the storm. Thank you so much, as always, for spending the time with me. I hope that you painted with me, or I hope that you will just go ahead and do it just for fun. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit etherealartsstudio.com.